If you're tired of making your quilt sandwich on the ground, hunching over, having back problems, sticking your needles in the carpet, then maybe this hack is gonna be a good one for you. Have you heard of using a pool noodle to put your quilt sandwich together? Now, I just finished putting together a quilt top and I figured what better time than now to figure out if this hack actually works or not. I'm also a very beginner quilter, so this is gonna really test how easy this hack is. So what you're gonna need are 3 pool noodles, one for the quilt top, one for the batting, and one for the backing, a few straight pins, and some safety pins. Obviously, you need your quilt top, your quilt back, and some batting. I'm personally using batting from Hobbs, and I'm gonna leave the description, and I'll leave the description. I'm gonna be using some Hobbs batting, and why can't I say it? I'm gonna be using Hobbs batting, and I'm gonna be using Hobbs batting, and the link is gonna be in the description below. That wasn't so hard, Alex, was it? I've never done this before, so we're just gonna see how this goes. We're gonna start off with our backing, and you want the right side to be facing down. Mine's just white, so it doesn't really matter. Then you're gonna put your pool noodle on top and grab the end pieces like this, and you wanna get them as tight as possible and roll it just a little bit. Then grab your pins and pin them in there. Try to straighten it out as you go along, and then you're just gonna roll. Getting it straight and even. I'm already failing. It's fine. We learn from our mistakes. If it's not perfectly unwrinkly and not perfectly straight and whatnot, I think it's okay as you're rolling it. It's when you unroll it that it really matters. I'm just gonna stick one little pin in there and hope that that holds it. Oh, it's not even gonna, what's happening? Hello? I did not see this in any tutorial. It was the pin's fault. Then you're gonna get your batting, and apparently there is a wrong and a right side to batting. Let me get my notes. The flat side needs to be down, which I'm assuming mine already is. Let's start rolling. Your quilt top has to be right side facing up. Let's get the handy dandy pool noodle out here. You also want to make sure that you have ironed your quilt top and back before you do this. Now, what's the next step? We're gonna get our backing, take our little pinsies out, and unroll it. You can do this by spray basting or pinning. I was originally going to use the spray baste, but I'm more familiar with the pins, and I figured if I'm learning one thing as it is, I might as well stick to the other thing that's familiar, if that makes sense. So I'm going to pin, but if you were to spray baste, you would just lift up the layers as you go. So what we're going to be doing is putting all of the pool noodles down and rolling, spray, roll, spray, but I'm pinning. I'm a visual person. I'll just show you. We're gonna take our batting, take the pin out, and we wanna line this up with our backing. Nice and even. Take our top and do the same thing, but of course you want to have a border of your back and batting, so we're not going to line up the edges. And you also want to make sure, so my batting is bigger than my backing, so I have to really watch what I'm doing to make sure that I'm going to have enough backing back there. So I have a little bit exposed. I'm going to go ahead and start pinning. Okay, I'm gonna roll this out, roll this out, roll this out, and keep pinning. One thing that I'm already noticing that I like about this and doing this like on the ground is it's not as overwhelming. I like being able to stand and see what I'm doing. I like being able to smooth it out as I go. And sometimes I would get the pins kind of stuck in the carpet underneath. And it was always kind of hard to pick up my quilt to really get it in there. However, being at the table, I have a lot more leverage. Now when you start to get even further down the table and you don't want to reach so far, you'll just pull this down so that you're not hunching over trying to reach it. I would also say that if you're doing this on like a dining table or a table that you don't want to get scuffed up, just be very careful. I have a cutting mat underneath this, so I'm not as worried about that. And I'm just lifting mine up whenever I pin so that I can make sure that I'm getting all the layers. Oh no. What happens when I run out of batting?
You don't have enough batting? It's not long enough?
We learn from our mistakes.
You could trim the top of the quilt off.
Okay,
And make it shorter.
I'll do that.
You could make Franken batting.
Oh, we do have extra.
But you'd have to feed the whole thing, zigzag the whole thing through.
I'm just gonna trim it. Learn from my mistakes, measure before you start. And there you have it. I think that I will definitely keep pool noodles on hand forever, because this was a lot easier than being on the ground. And next time I'll try spray basting. But for pinning and keeping yourself off the ground, this is definitely a really good option. I'm gonna take it over to the sewing machine now and finish the rest. So I give this a 10 out of 10.